Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to another edition of Primetime News on TV1. I'm Charlene Benedict for the Newsfirst team.
And I'm Naveksha Gunasekara. Here are your headlines for tonight.
President meets with Ministry of Finance to discuss budget, economic plan to ensure equitable distribution across all provinces. Financial Crimes Investigation Division to resume operations next week. Former Minister Manusha Nanaikara provides statement to CID. Thousands of acres of paddy fields submerged due to heavy rainfall. Sri Lanka women under 90s record-breaking win stuns West Indies. Trump signs 42 executive orders after inauguration.
Taking a look at those stories in detail now. President Andrukumara Dissanayake announced that this year's budget will be designed with the objective of involving every segment of the population in the economic process. The statement was made during a meeting with officials from the Ministry of Finance at the Presidential Secretariat today. The meeting focused on the preparation of the 2025 budget.
The discussion highlighted the importance of streamlining public transportation to enhance productivity and efficiency in economic activities, as well as the proper utilization of decentralized funds. The meeting reviewed the government's role in strengthening public transportation and the measures required to provide necessary facilities. Despite significant allocations made to decentralized funds by previous governments, these funds have not been directed toward productive projects. Therefore, attention was drawn to allocating decentralized fund provisions for national level projects. The President and officials had also discussed the repayment of loans provided to rice millers for purchasing paddy within a year and the regulation of rice stocks currently held by these businesses.
Minister of Public Security Ananda Vijaypala announced in Parliament today that the Financial Crimes Investigation Division of the Police will resume operations next week. Speaking during the adjournment debate on Clean Sri Lanka initiative, Minister Vijaypala clarified on this matter.
We promise this assembly that we will conduct thorough investigations into all crimes that have been buried under the sands of time. The police are now prepared for this task. It was mentioned here that there are 450 files, but the CID has 29,000 files. We will re-establish the Financial Crimes Investigation Division next week and assign these financial crime files to that division to ensure justice for the people of this country. Additionally, we are using special task force as well.
Here are some of the views that were expressed during the adjournment debate on Clean Sri Lanka program in Parliament today.
Although
not from our party, a certain political party has taken 50 million rupees to offer a parliamentary seat. We know who they are. If the concerned individual comes forward with a complaint, we can trace how the 50 million was distributed. Now they are spinning new stories. Yes, we have a 2/3 majority, but unlike the previous government, we are not a dictatorship. We are bound by the rule of law. We have initiated several investigations, including into the Easter Sunday attacks. I cannot disclose the progress of these investigations, but we are expediting many of them. We do not politically target anyone, but we must show that the law is equal for everyone. Duminda Silva, who was in hospital wards for so long, is now in a cell. Arjuna Losius is in prison for unpaid taxes, and we are collecting unpaid taxes from companies owned by Johnston Fernando. This year, excise revenue reached 20 billion rupees, the highest in recent history. We are investigating these cases to uphold the rule of law. To those causing unrest, we say this: the law will catch up with you. Do not think you can hide in places like Mount Elizabeth in Singapore.
Clean
Sri Lanka වැඩසටහන යටතේ ලක්ෂ 70ක් පළවෙනි උත්සවයට ගියා කියලා මම පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ කිව්වා. අදත් කියනවා හෙටත් කියනවා.
Under the Clean Sri Lanka initiative, I mentioned in Parliament that 7 million rupees were allocated for the first event. I stand by that statement. On the 9th, I said in Parliament that on the 10th at 9:45 am, the Chief Auditor Kumara Singha and Accountant Tharaka were brought to the table. After discussions, the amount was revised to 900,000 rupees, saving 6.1 million rupees for the government and the country. For Christmas, lights were put up at Golf Face and Duplication Road, funded by your Governor Hanif Yusuf. No one is renting houses in Vijayarama for 440,000 rupees a month. If Mahinda Rajapaksa is told to vacate tomorrow, there are people ready to provide him with houses. Chandrika Bandaranayaka gave 4,000 acres of land to the country and distributed family lands. Even if those people go home, their names will not be erased. If Mahinda Rajapaksa is told to vacate, there are people ready to give him 10 houses. Remove his security tomorrow and you will see how many people will come to support him. During the Honourable Member's speech, he mentioned the name of the Western Province Governor and made several accusations. We want to make it clear that the Governor is a respected individual in this country. He was appointed not because he is a member of our party, but because of his merit. I do not know if he paid for these things, but it is wrong to make such baseless accusations when he is not here to defend himself. The Honourable Member mentioned presenting bills under the Clean Sri Lanka initiative. We hope he will present them as promised. We have not spent a single cent of government money. If the Honourable Member has any evidence, he is welcome to present it.
I am not surprised that those who are part of anti-people governments who use the people for their highly personal agendas cannot understand this. But today there is a change in this country. This is a process carried out with public participation.
ඔබතුමිය මම මෙතන බඩ වෙලා බලා ඉන්නේ ඔබතුමිය මේ අපිට මේ රටට ස්ක්‍රීන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා කන්සෙප්ට් සම්බන්ධව පැහැදිලි කිරීමක් ලබා දෙයිද කියලා. කරුණාකරලා අපිට කන්සෙප්ට් එක පැහැදිලි කරලා දෙන්න.
මම මේක ගැන කතා කරලා තියෙනවා ඇති වෙන තව කතා කරන්න ඕන නම් තව කතා කරන්න. නමුත් මගේ යුතුයකමක් තමයි අගමැතිනිය හැටියට මේ කරන අద్භූත චෝදනා වලට පිළිතුරු දෙන්න. ඒ නිසා විවාද කරන්න ඕන විදිය ගැන මට උගන්වන්න එන්න ඕනේ නැහැ කවුරුවත්. බොහොම ස්තුතියි. නීතිය අතට අරගෙන ඕන විදියට තමන්ගේ බලය පාවිච්චි කරලා මේ රටේ නීතියවත් ව්‍යවස්ථාවත් සත පහකට ගණන් ගත්තු නැති යුගයක් අපි ඉවර කළායි මේ ආණ්ඩුව පත් කරගත්තේ.
ඔය ක්ලීන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා කියන එකම තමයි ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහත්තයා මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ ආණ්ඩුවේ වෙනත් ක්‍රමයකට කරේ.
The Clean Sri Lanka concept is the same as what Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Mahinda Rajapaksa did in their government. When the government changed, what happened? You were the ones who accused them of using the military to clean the streets and build Colombo. But now you are doing the same under the Clean Sri Lanka banner. On one hand, you tell the police to stop three-wheelers and fine them, and on the other hand, you fine buses. You say the problem is solved when the money is paid. Does paying the money prevent accidents?
මුදල් ගෙවුවම ඇක්සිඩන්ට් එක වෙන්නේ නැද්ද? ඒක කිව්වේ කවුද? මොකද මම තමයි ප්‍රවාහන ඇමති. අපි අහන්නේ පොලිසියෙන් කියන්නේ මේ පොලිස් පාර අමාත්‍යවරයා ඉන්නවා.
පොලිසිය එහෙම මොකක්වත් කියලා නැහැ. මොන පොලිසියද කියලා තියෙන්නේ?
මේක ලියාපදිංචි කරන්න පුළුවන්ද බැරිද? ලියාපදිංචි කරාම ඇක්සිඩන්ට් එක වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා කියනවනේ. පිළිබඳව
සාධක සහිතව කතා කරන්න. නිකන් කවුරු හරි කියපු එකක් ගෙනල්ලා මෙතන කතා කරන්න.
ඔබතුමා හෙට දිනේදී හෝ කියන්න කවුද ඒක කිව්ව කියන එක. ඒකෙන් පැනලා යන්න එපා. ගරු මණ්ඩලතුමනි පොලිසියෙන් කියන්නේ. ඉතින් ඔබතුමාලා ශ්‍රී ලංකා පොලිසිය ආයි වෙන පොලිසියක් නෙවෙයි. මේක අර දූෂණ මර්දන කමිටුව වගේ ඔබතුමාලා දාලා දේශපාලන පරිගැනීම් ගන්න තැනක් නෙවෙයි. මේක පාර්ලිමේන්තුව. දැන් මේක නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ කිව්වා කියලා පොලිස් කොමිසමට බයින්න ලෑස්ති වෙන්න එපා ආයෙ ගිහිල්ලා. මොකද පොලිස් කොමිසමට චෝදනා නගනවා එක පැත්තකින් අනිත් පැත්තෙන් රාජ්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ට චෝදනා නගනවා. ඔබතුමාලාගේ ජනාධිපතිවරයා කියනවා හමුදාව කියලා තුවක්කු පන්ලා මිනි මරනවා කියලා. මොකද්ද මේකේ තේරුම? මේක රටක්.
මිනි මරනවා ගැන අපිට කතා කරන්න එන්න එපා. තාජුතින් ඝාතනය ගැන අපිට කතා කරන්න එන්න එපා. කවුද තාජුතින්ලා ඝාතනය කරේ කියලා මේ රට දන්නවා. තාජුතින්ලා ඝාතනය කරලා වසන්ත වික්‍රමතුංගලා ඝාතනය කරපු මිනිමරු ඇවිල්ලා මොනවද මෙතන මිනිවරු කතා කරන ඝාතන ගැන පොලිසියට චෝදනා ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න බොරුවට ඔය බබාවගේ කතා කරන්න නැත්තේ එපා එක්ස්ටර්නල් කොට අතුරුදහන් කරලා
තුමනි දැන් ඔබතුමා පොලිසිය පාර ඇමති යහපාලන ආණ්ඩුවේ දූෂණ මර්දන කමිටුවේ සභාපති ඒ කාලෙත් මෙතුමා තමයි ওই පරීක්ෂණ කෙරුවේ කලබල වෙන්න එපා කියලා ගරු අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමිය පොඩ වාඩි කරන්නකෝ මේ ළමයාව බලන්නකෝ හැසිරෙන විදිය ඔබතුමියට හොඳ නැහැ ක්ලීන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා කියනවා ඉස්සෙල්ලා ඔලු ගෙඩි ටික ක්ලීන් කරගන්න මේ
නාමල් මන්ත්‍රීතුමා සෑහෙන මං අහගෙන හිටියා පාළුගේ පුදුමාකාර වලම් මුට්ටි සෑහෙන බින්දා ඔබතුමාලගේ තාත්තලා බාප්පලා පුතාලා ඒ වගේම සීයලා පොඩකින්න
මෙතුමා මේ පක්ෂයේ ජ්‍යෙෂ්ඨ මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙක් සහ මගේ ගමේ මං ගරු කරන කෙනෙක් ඉඳ මම මුකුත් කියන්න යන්නේ නැහැ වලං බින්දින්න පුළුවන් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ වලං හිස්සින්දා එච්චරයි මං කියන්නේ
අපේ ඌව පළාතේ හිටපු මහඇමතිවරයා විදුහල්පති
The former chief minister of the Uva province, he made a school principal kneel down. The same people went to the phosphate company in Epavala and held the employees by their necks. I have the documents regarding the corruption surrounding the phosphate in Epavala. These very same ministers fraudulently exported the phosphate from the country. The loss to the country caused by that was 786 million rupees. I have the documents to show how he deposited into his personal account money that should have gone to school students in the Uva province. We lodged complaints regarding these matters at the Bribery Commission. They swept these under the carpet. I would like to inform MP Chamara Sampath that these files that have been swept under the carpet will be taken up again under the government of the NPP. Sendil Thondaman forcibly occupied 2 bungalows and was evicted from those bungalows he had occupied for 13 years. Vadivel Suresh said that he had a legal right and asked for a week to prove this. When he couldn't prove it, he was evicted from the bungalow he had occupied for 19 years. The president said these things and some people are hurt when he is saying these things. Namal said that there are people ready to give houses to the Rajapaksas. Yes, those who helped them in the past are there. The president didn't say anything about evicting people from houses. He valued the property rent at 4.8 million rupees. According to the laws you made, if a retired president doesn't get a house, they should get an additional 30,000 rupees from their monthly salary. What's wrong with what the president said? It's shameful to live on rent for 4.8 million rupees. If you have any dignity, you can't steal like this. You can't build tombs for your parents with public money.
Former Minister of Labour and Foreign Employment Manusha Nanayakara appeared before the Criminal Investigation Department today to provide a statement regarding an investigation into granting employment opportunities in South Korea.
Nanayakara spent approximately 6 hours at the CID giving his statement before leaving the premises this afternoon. Yesterday, Nanayakara informed the Court of Appeal that he would be providing a statement to the CID today following his request for a writ order to prevent his arrest.
Now that is how the recent heavy rainfall has severely impacted several reservoirs across Sri Lanka. The most significant damage due to the adverse weather is being caused to paddy cultivations. In the Ampara district alone, it is estimated that 12% of this season's paddy harvest may already be lost.
The adverse weather has hit the Maha-season paddy cultivation in Ampara twice. Newsfirst correspondent reports that the overflow of the Ekgaloya has submerged approximately 3,000 acres in Kuduvil, Manikamandu and Eragam areas.
හතක් විතර දවස් තමයි තියෙන්නේ. ඔක්කොම යට වෙලා මණ්ඩි විශේෂම ඔක්කොම ගෝයන් ටික අකර සුන්දාට වැඩිය.
The opening of the sluice gates of the Senanayaka Samudraya has caused the Galloya to overflow, leading to the submersion of numerous paddy fields in Sinnampoti, Palamunavatta and Vallavatta areas. Farmers report that these fields have been underwater for 3 days.
අපි ඉස්සර මේ වතුර අවිල්ලා ඔක්කොම රැටවල ගියා. ගියාට පස්සේ ඔක්කොම නැති වුණා. ආයෙ වපුරලා තමයි දැන් කොහමරි ආවා. ඒකත් ආයෙත් නැවත ගියා.
In the Nenakadu area of Samanture, the overflow of the Galloya has destroyed thousands of acres of paddy fields. The opening of the sluice gates of the Navagiriya reservoir has submerged a large number of paddy fields in Gonagolla and Navagiri areas, which were close to being harvested.
දැන් මේ පූදින ගොයමයි කිරිවදින ගොයමයි පැහිච්ච ගොයමුයි සේරම යට වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ කුඹුරු විතරක් නෙමෙයි මේ යායම එහෙමයි. අපි මේක ලක්ෂ 10 කට වියදම් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒවට දැන් මේ යටයක් ගන්නකන් ෂුවර් නෑනේ මේ.
In the Nachadu area, many paddy fields have been destroyed due to the overflow of the Malvatoya.
අපේ කුඹුරු අක්කර 4ක් 5ක් විතර යට වෙලා තියෙනවා. සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම යට වෙලා තියෙන නැහ වෙලා තමයි ගොවිතැන් කරේ.
කරන්න තියෙන දේවල් ඔක්කොම කරගෙන තමයි මේව කරලා තියෙන්නේ. දැන් මේවට ලක්ෂ 5යි ගාණක් මේවට වියදම් කරලා තියෙනවා.
In the Galnava and Handungam areas, paddy fields close to harvest have been submerged due to the overflow of the Kalawaya. The overflow of the Malvatoya has submerged hundreds of acres of paddy fields in the Thiripane and Kattamurichan areas of Anuradhapura.
දැන් උන්ට දවස් 12ක් වෙනවා. 10 වෙනිදා යට විච්ච ගමන් තවත් වතුර යනවා එන්න වැඩි වෙනවා මේ වැස්සෙන්දා මානම් කට්ටියෙන් එන වතුර ඒරුවා මෙහි මාමිනියෙන් ඔක්කොම එකට වෙලා තමයි යට වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
In the Diulana and Manikampiti areas, paddy fields have been destroyed due to the overflow of the Diulana Villa. The overflow of the Periyaru river has submerged over 500 acres of paddy fields in the Sungavilla area. Newsfirst correspondent reports that these fields have been underwater for about 5 days.
තුම්පාර මෙහෙම හානි වෙලා ගියා. අපේ රත්තරන් බඩු ටික වාහනේ පොත්වල වල බැංකුවල ණය ටික අරන් දැම්මා මේ ටික කරේ.
The situation in the Ampara district was discussed in Parliament today.
ඇත්තටම DS Senanayaka සමුද්‍රයේ අක්කරාඩි 7,70,000ක ධාරිතාවයකින් යුක්ත.
The DS Senanayaka reservoir has a capacity of 707,000 acre-feet. Currently, this reservoir holds 730,000 acre-feet of water. The water level has risen to between 110 and 108.3 feet, while regulations mandate that sluice gates must be opened when the level exceeds 104 feet. At present, 5 sluice gates have been opened at 15 inches each. Due to the water flowing through the sluice gates and the water coming from the other reservoirs, a total of 3,000 cubic feet of water is being released into the Galloya per second. In Nenakadu, the banks of the river had collapsed and submerged about 3,000 acres of paddy fields. As of now, water levels have receded, saving around 1,000 acres of paddy fields. The Galloya river banks have not been maintained or renovated for several years. There have been many instances where the banks of the river had collapsed. We have managed to protect the river to some extent by placing sandbags and fortifying the areas of the river that are weak. We also took steps to implement several temporary solutions to address these issues. We are now preparing estimates to provide permanent solutions to these issues.
පසුගිය කාලේ කරා ඒවට අදාළ ඇස්තමේන්තු සකස් කරමින් දැන් ස්ථිර විසඳුම් ලබා දෙන්නත් කටයුතු කරනවා.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
International Edu Expo with EdLocate on the 1st and 2nd February. Call us to register.
In an impressive display of skill and teamwork, the Sri Lanka women's under-19 team secured a commanding victory over the West Indies women's under-19 team in their ICC under-19 T20 Women's World Cup match held at the Kuala Lumpur Oval.
The Sri Lankans beat their own record, posting the biggest total of the ICC Women's Under-19 T20 World Cup 2025 so far. Helped in part by some missed opportunities by the West Indies in the field, the Sri Lankans powered their way to 79 for the loss of 1 at the midpoint of their innings after electing to bat. Openers Sanjana Kawindi and Sumudu Nisansala put on 54 runs in under 7 overs for the first wicket. The clean hitting continued after the 10-over mark as well, led by the valuable contribution contributions of Captain Manudinana Karo and the Hemisanetma. Tricky left armer Serena Ross was the pick of the bowlers, finishing with 25 for 2 from her 4 overs. In response, the West Indies women under-19 team struggled to find their footing against the disciplined Sri Lankan bowling attack. They were bowled out for just 85 runs in 19.4 overs, falling short by 81 runs. Shamudi Praboda, Aseni Thalagune and Limansa Tilakaratne were the stars with the ball and maintaining tight bowling figures.
In the village of Lunambeera, a bus stand that was meant to serve thousands now stands empty. What went wrong? And why are the villagers now drying grain in a place that was supposed to be a bustling hub of activity?
What happened to the village?
This is the story of the Lunambeera urban bus stand. Construction began in 2015 and it was officially opened in 2019. Building a new bus stand for the village was supposed to be a good thing, right? But the problem is clear as you see it. The villagers say that the bus stand, which cost 37.2 million rupees, was built in a completely useless location. Now it stands abandoned and overgrown with weeds.
ගමට යන පාර තියෙන මේ පාට මෙතනින් පාරක් තිබුණා. එතකොට මෙතනින් බස් නවත්තලා මේ පැත්තේ යනවා ඇවිල්ලා ආයේ මෙහෙම යනවා. ඔය පැත්තට තුන් පැත්තටම යනවා. දැන් අතන බස් ස්ටෑන්ඩ් පොඩියට තියෙනවා. එතන බස් නවත්තනෝනේ එතනින්ම සෙනඟ නැගලා මේ පැත්තේ යනවා. මේ පැත්තේ යනවා මේ පැත්තේ යනවා මේ පැත්තේ යනවා.
ඒ සුගේ සල්ලි තියෙන අපරාධයක්. මෙතන ගැවුණා ඉතින් ගොඩක් වටිනවා ඒක. බස් එකක් නවත්තන්න නැහැ නේද? සානෙන් මෙතන බයින්කු ටික ඔක්කොම තියෙන හින්දා අවුලක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
A project that was supposed to serve thousands is now only used for drying grains.
වැඩ කරලා දෙයක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ මෙතන. වටේ ඉන්න මිනිස්සුયો මේ සමහර දාතර අර කොහොබත් කියලා වේලනවා. අපි මුංගට ටික දා ගන්නවා. ඔන්න ඔය වී වේල ගන්නවා. ඉතින් ඕන වගේ මිනිස්සුયો පොඩි පොඩි දේවල් තමයි කරගන්නේ. තව ටික දා කරනකොට විනාශ වෙලාම යනවා.
Can those seeking authority take a closer look at this before the next election?
What happened to the village?
In the small community of Ilukovita, Panyakulavatta, 15 families face this heart-wrenching question every day. With a single plastic tank collecting water from a distant spring, their struggle for this basic necessity is a daily battle against the elements and the odds. How long can they endure this hardship? And will their cries for help ever be heard?
Gammadda door to door.
In the small village of Ilukovita, Panyakulavatta, located in the Sitavaka Divisional Secretariat in the Colombo district, 15 families rely on a single plastic tank to collect water from a spring on higher ground.
මේ ටැංකිය වතුරෙන් තමයි පවුල් 15ක්ම අපි පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. ඉඩෝර කාලෙට මේකේ වතුර හොඳටම අඩු වෙනවා. ඉතින් මේ ඉඳලා කිලෝමීටර් දෙකක් හරි වගේ ගිහලා තමයි වතුර ගේන්නේ. ඒක මේකේ ටැංකිය වහලා පොඩ කට්ටිය අල්ලගෙන එච්චරයි අපි වතුර නිසා ගොඩාක් අපහසුතාවයන්පත් වෙනවා. උඩ පොඩි උල්පතක් තියෙන්නේ. ඒකෙන් තමයි මේ අපි ටැප් එකේ ලයින් එක දාලා නිකන් අර ගලාසින් තියලා වතුර ගන්නෙ. පොඩ්ඩක් වහිනවා නම් කොළ ටික සේරම එයිදිලා ඇවිල්ලා ඒක බහැිනවා. පහෙන් දැස් වලට එමත් නැහැ. අපිට යන්න වෙනවා ඈත වතුර ගේන්නේ. අපි මේ වත්තක ඉඳගෙන සෑන්ඩ් දුකක් විඳිනවා. ආණ්ඩුවේ මොනවා හරි දෙන්න ගියොත් ඒගොල්ලෝ අපිට ඔප්පු නැහැ කියලා දෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. උඩ තැනක කානුවක් වගේ ඒකේ ඉඳලා එන පොඩි වතුර පාරෙන් තමයි අපි පවුල් 15ක් විතර ජීවත් වෙන්නේ. අපි සෑන්ඩ් අමාරුවක් දුක් විඳිලා ඉන්නවා.
This issue was identified by the Gammadda door-to-door team.
Gammadda door to door.
Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, emphasized that a country's economy should not depend on individuals if its institutional system functions properly. He made these remarks during an interview on the Sinhala edition of Newsfirst face-to-face program.
අන්නේ දැන් මේ කියවෙනවනේ දැන් නන්දලාල් වීරසිංහ මහත්තයා නැති වුණොත් මේක යන්නේ මේක කඩන් වැටෙනවා ආවල් පුද්ගලයා නැති වුණොත් කඩන් වැටෙනවා මේ පුද්ගලයා නැති වුණොත් කඩන් එතකොට මේ පුද්ගල බද්ධ ප්‍රතිපත්ති මතද අපේ ආර්ථිකය තාමත් දුවන්නේ
එහෙම වෙන්න ඕන නැහැ මම දකින්නේ කිසිම රටක පුද්ගලයෙක් මත
No, it shouldn't be that way. Institutions must be strengthened to operate independently of any individual. The best example is why the central bank was made independent. Once it became independent under the Central Bank Act, whether I, Nandalal Veerasinghe or someone else is appointed as governor, the institution remains strong and independent. This allows for the implementation of correct policies. Strong institutions are crucial for a country's development. It is not about the individual. For instance, Singapore developed under Lee Kuan Yew because he strengthened its institutions. Whether he was there or not, the systems and the institutions continued to function effectively.
තියෙනවා ක්‍රමවේදයක් තියෙනවා ඒ ආයතන තුලින් නියමිත ආකාර ප්‍රතිපත්තිගාත්මක ඉන්න පුද්ගලයා කවුද කියන එක අදාළ වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Donald Trump began erasing Joe Biden's legacy immediately after taking office as the United States' 47th president on Monday, pardoning nearly all of his supporters who rioted at the US Capitol on the 6th of January 2021 and issuing a blizzard of executive orders that signal his desire to remake American institutions.
He signed orders for increasing border security, designating drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, limiting birthright citizenship, freezing new regulations, and establishing a task force for reducing the size of the federal government.
Now, he also rescinded dozens of directives issued by Biden, including those relating to climate change and diversity, equity and inclusion initiatives.
In a historic ceremony held at the Rotunda Hall of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., Donald Trump was sworn in as the 47th President of the United States at approximately 10:30 p.m. Sri Lankan time yesterday. This inauguration, the first in 40 years, was necessitated by the severe winter weather currently affecting the country. The event was graced by former Presidents Barack Obama, Bill Clinton and George W. Bush. Some of the most exclusive seats at President Donald Trump's inauguration were reserved for powerful tech CEOs who also happen to be among the world's richest men, including Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, along with Google CEO Sundar Pichai and Elon Musk.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Melania Trump, along with close family members, stood by Donald Trump during the ceremony. New Vice President J.D. Vance also took his oath of office.
I, James David Vance, do solemnly swear.
I, James David Vance, do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President.
Trump made history as the first US president to be sworn in after being convicted in a criminal trial and the first to survive 2 impeachment attempts and assassination attempts. Mark Rubio was appointed as the new Secretary of State with unanimous Senate approval, making him the first official to be confirmed under the new administration. Carrie Underwood marked the new regime of Donald J. Trump as the first performer following his 30-minute inaugural address. Standing in front of former President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, Underwood sang America the Beautiful.
Purple mountain majesties above the fruity plain.
In his first address as President, Trump declared the beginning of a golden era for America.
The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end. And our top priority will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free. America will soon be greater, stronger, and far more exceptional than ever before.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.